Yes. In another minute, we'll start. Exactly. Mr. Parsuramen, I think you are ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Lavanya, you are ready?
Yeah.
Lavanya?
Yes, I'm
ready.
ready.
Are you ready? Oh, fine. You have to increase your volume a little bit, I think.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube live and successful.
Very good. So we'll start in exactly 30 seconds. So we are starting now. வாழ்க நிரந்தரம் வாழ்க தமிழ் மொழி வாழிய வாழியவே வானம் அளந்த அனைத்தும் அளந்திடும் வன்மொழி வாழியவே ஏழ்கடல் வைப்பினும் தன்மனம் வீசி இசை கொண்டு வாழியவே எங்கள் தமிழ்மொழி என்றென்றும் வாழியவே. சான்றோர் சந்திப்பின் 13வது மடலுக்கு ஐக்கிய ராஜ்ய தமிழ்துறை தமிழ் ஸ்டடிஸ் UK சார்பாக நடைபெறும் இந்த நிகழ்விற்கு உங்கள் அனைவரையும் அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறேன். நான் உங்கள் நண்பன் சுரேஷ்குமார். கடந்த 12 வாரங்களாக நீங்கள் தொடர்ந்து அளித்து வரும் பேராதரவை தொடர்ந்து இந்த வாரம் நம் அனைவரையும் சந்திக்க இருக்கிறார் நம் பெரும் மதிப்பிற்குரிய விருந்தினர் மொரிஷியஸ் அரசின் முன்னாள் கல்வி அமைச்சர் முனைவர் ஆறுமுகம் பரசுராமன் அவர்கள். TamilStudies UK proudly welcomes former Minister for Education, Mauritius government, Dr. Honorable Armoogum Parsuramen. Welcome, sir. We are honored, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to start the program, can I request TamilStudies UK Forum to give you a short introduction about the TamilStudies UK and its goals, please. Salim, could you take over?
Salim, Suko was to happen and Shaban.
Yeah.
Let Shaban. Okay.
நேரத்தில் இந்த ஒரு சிறப்பு நிகழ்ச்சியில் இணைந்திருக்கும் உலக தமிழ் உறவுகள் அனைவரையும் வரவேற்றுக் கொண்டு எங்களது சிறப்பு விருந்தினர் மொரிஷியஸில் இருந்து தமிழ் மனம் வீசும் எங்கள் ஐயா பாசமிகு திரு ஆறுமுகம் பரசுராமன் அவர்களையும் வரவேற்று ஐக்கிய ராஜ்ய தமிழ்துறை என்றால் என்ன என்ற ஒரு சிறு அறிமுக உரையை கொடுக்க இங்கு நான் வந்துள்ளேன். லண்டன் பல்கலைக்கழகம் ஸ்கூல் ஆஃப் ஓரியண்டல் அண்ட் ஆப்பிரிக்கன் ஸ்டடீஸில் ஒரு தமிழ் துறையை நிறுவ வேண்டும் என்ற கனவோடு பயணித்து வருவதே ஐக்கிய ராஜ்ய தமிழ்துறை ஆகும். வரலாற்று சிறப்புமிக்க லண்டன் மாநகரில் இந்த தமிழ் துறையானது அமையவிருக்கிறது. இங்கு பெருமை மிகு தமிழ் அடையாளங்களாக லண்டன் பல்கலைக்கழகம் SOASல் திருவள்ளுவர் சிலையும், ஆக்ஸ்போர்ட் என்ற இடத்தில் தமிழ் மொழியின் பல இலக்கிய நூல்களை ஐரோப்பிய மொழிகளுக்கு மொழிபெயர்த்த GU போப் அவர்களின் நினைவிடமும், சரே கேம்பர்லி பகுதியில் தமிழர்களுக்காக தனது நிலத்தையே விற்று பெரிய ஒரு முல்லை பெரியாறு அணையை கட்டிய திரு பென்னி குயிக் அவர்களின் நினைவிடமும் உள்ளது. திரு பென்னி குயிக் அவர்களின் நினைவிடத்திலும் திருக்குறள் பொறிக்கப்பட்டுள்ளது என்பது மிகவும் குறிப்பிடத்தக்கது. பல சான்றோர்கள் கற்று தமிழுக்காக பெருமை சேர்த்த இடமாக SOAS யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஆஃப் லண்டன் திகழ்கிறது. உலகில் மிகவும் முன்னணி தரவரிசையில் இருக்கக்கூடிய பல கல்லூரிகளையும் உள்ளடக்கியதே இந்த லண்டன் மாநகரம். குறிப்பாக லண்டன் ஸ்கூல் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ், கிங்ஸ் காலேஜ் என்று பல முன்னணி கல்வி நிலையங்கள் இங்கு உள்ளன. நாம் ஏன் இந்த SOASல் ஒரு தமிழ் துறையை துவக்க விரும்புகிறோம் என்றால், பிரித்தானிய நூலகம் மிகவும் அருகாமையில், அதாவது 1.1 கிலோமீட்டர் தொலைவில் உள்ளது. பிரித்தானிய அருங்காட்சியகம் மிகவும் அருகில், அதுவும் 350 மீட்டர் தொலைவில் உள்ளது. நேஷனல் ஆர்கைவ் என்ற ஆவண காப்பகம் இங்கு 13.7 கிலோமீட்டர் தொலைவில் உள்ளது. இவை அனைத்தும் ஆராய்ச்சியாளர்கள் லண்டனில் தங்கி இருந்து பல்வேறு தமிழ் ஆவணங்களையும் பாரம்பரிய புத்தகங்களையும் பனை ஓலைச்சுவடிகளையும் ஆய்வு செய்வதற்கு வசதியாக இருக்கும். பிரித்தானிய நூலகத்தில் 600 வருடங்களுக்கு மேலாக உள்ள பழைய தமிழ் ஓலைச்சுவடிகள், ஏடுகள் ஆகியவை பாதுகாக்கப்பட்டு வைக்கப்பட்டுள்ளன. பிரித்தானிய அருங்காட்சியகத்தில் 600,000த்திற்கு மேற்பட்ட தென்னிந்திய பொருட்கள் பாதுகாப்பில் வைக்கப்பட்டுள்ளன. அதுபோல உலகளவு உலகளாவிய அளவில் தமிழ் இருக்கைகள் பல எழுந்தாலும் லண்டன் மாநகரில் அமைவது தமிழ் துறையாகும். அதாவது தமிழை முதன்மைப்படுத்தி BA இளங்கலை, முதுகலை மற்றும் ஆராய்ச்சி படிப்புகளை இங்கு செய்ய முடியும். ஆனால் பல்வேறு இருக்கைகள் என்பது தெற்காசிய படிப்புகளாகவே வரும். அவை தமிழை முதன்மைப்படுத்தி அமையாது, தமிழ் புலமைக்கு மட்டுமே அவை பங்களிக்கும். அந்த வகையில் லண்டனில் அமையக்கூடிய தமிழ் துறை உலக அரங்கில் தனித்துவம் பெற்று விளங்கும். தமிழ் துறையை இங்கு துவக்கலாம் என்ற அனுமதியை பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் தெற்காசிய படிப்புகளின் தலைவர் திரு எட்வர்ட் சிம்சன் அவர்கள் நமக்கு கொடுத்த கடிதம் இது நமது இணையதளத்தில் நீங்கள் கண்டு பார்க்கலாம். நாம் ஏன் இந்த தமிழ் துறையை துவங்குகிறோம் என்றால், நமது எதிர்கால சந்ததியினருக்கு இன்றிலிருந்து 1000 ஆண்டுகளானாலும் அவர்கள் தமிழ் கல்வியை தொடர்ச்சியாக பெற முடியும். அவர்கள் லண்டன் மட்டுமல்லாமல் ஐக்கிய ராச்சியம், ஐரோப்பியா என்று உலகளாவிய நாடுகளில் இருந்து அனைவரும் இங்கு படித்து செல்வதற்கான வாய்ப்பை இங்கு உருவாக்குகிறோம். அவற்றில் 6 மில்லியனாக கல்வியாளர் வைப்பு நிதியும் 4 மில்லியனாக கல்வி சலுகையையும் நாங்கள் வைப்பு நிதியாக செய்கிறோம். இந்த 4 மில்லியன் கல்வி சலுகையில் உலகம் முழுவதும் இருந்து 4 பேர் இலவசமாக லண்டன் மாநகரில் வந்து தமிழ் கல்வியை கற்று செல்ல முடியும். அந்த வகையில் நாங்கள் 10 வருடத்திற்குள் 40 கல்வியாளர்கள், சிறந்த கல்வியாளர்களையும் ஆராய்ச்சியாளர்களையும் இங்கு லண்டன் மாநகரில் இருந்து உருவாக்கிடுவோம் என்ற ஒரு பெருமகிழ்ச்சியான செய்தியையும் உங்களுக்கு அளிக்கிறோம். ஐக்கிய ராச்சிய தமிழ் துறை மற்றும் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் தமிழ் லாங்குவேஜ் அண்ட் கல்ச்சர் என்ற இரு அமைப்புகளும் இணைந்துதான் இந்த பணிகளை முன்னெடுத்து செல்கின்றன. TamilStudiesUK என்பது கல்வி புலத்திலும், பண்பாட்டு புலத்தில் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் தமிழ் லாங்குவேஜ் அண்ட் கல்ச்சர் என்ற குழுவிலும் நாங்கள் இணைந்து பயணிக்கிறோம். இந்த குழுவில் உறுப்பினராக நீங்கள் விரும்பினார் £1 மாதத்திற்காக அங்கத்தவர் கட்டணமாக வைக்கிறோம். அது இங்குள்ள பரப்புரை செலவுகளுக்கு மட்டுமே பயன்படுத்தப்படும் என்பதை உங்களுக்கு அறிய தருகிறோம். வாருங்கள், உலக அரங்கில் நாம் ஒன்றிணைந்து தமிழ் வளர்ப்போம் என்ற ஒரு அழைப்பிதழோடு எங்கள் பணிகளை பற்றி நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொள்ள www.TamilStudiesUK.org என்ற தளத்திலும், எங்களது மின்னஞ்சலாக நீங்கள் contact@TamilStudiesUK.org என்ற மின்னஞ்சலிலும் நீங்கள் தகவல்களை பெற்றுக் கொள்ளலாம். எங்களது தொடர்பாளர்களாக நீங்கள் சுந்தரம் ஸ்ரீ அவர்கள் மக்கள் தொடர்பு மற்றும் சிவலீலன் அவர்கள் செயலாளர் ஆகியோர்களை நீங்கள் அணுகலாம். நன்றி. திரு சுரேஷ் அவர்களிடம் கையளிக்கிறேன்.
நன்றி செலின், மிக அழகாக சுருக்கமாக சொன்னீர்கள். சான்றோர் சந்திப்பின் 13வது வார நிகழ்வாக இன்றைய நிகழ்ச்சியில் புலம்பெயர் தமிழர் எதிர்கொள்ளும் சவால், The Challenges Facing by Tamil Diaspora என்ற தலைப்பிலே தனது உரையை ஆங்கிலத்தில் தர இருக்கிறார் நம்முடைய மதிப்பிற்குரிய ஆறுமுகம் பரசுராமன் அவர்கள். அவரை நாம் இங்கு அறிமுகப்படுத்துவது நமது கடமை. அவரை பற்றிய சிறு அறிமுக உரையை லாவண்யா மோகன் அவர்கள் வழங்க இருக்கிறார்கள். வாருங்கள் லாவண்யா மோகன்.
Hi everyone, and welcome to week 13 of Sandor Sandippa. My name is Lavanya Loganathan, and I have the pleasure of introducing you all to this afternoon's event. Elorukkum vanakkam, endu per Lavanya Loganathan. Sandor Sandippin 13வது வாரத்திற்கு உங்கள் அனைவரையும் வரவேற்க எனக்கு மிக மகிழ்ச்சி. I'll be switching between English and Tamil for this introduction. I apologize in advance for any mistakes in my Tamil, and I will try to keep this introduction as brief as possible. For anyone who is new here, Celine Anna has already spoken at length about the group, TamilStudiesUK, but Sandor Sandippa, briefly in English, it is a weekly event hosted by TamilStudiesUK, which is an organization aiming to spread awareness of the importance of speaking in Tamil to a global Tamil diaspora and inspire the forthcoming generations by featuring talks from eminent members of our community, like Mr. Armoogum Parsuramen. This week, we are honored to welcome our patron, Mr. Armoogum Parsuramen from Mauritius. Mr. Parsuramen has had an absolutely incredible career in both the fields of education and empowerment, beginning his career as a teacher and quickly transitioning into politics. He became the Minister of Education, Arts, Culture and Science in 1983 in Mauritius, joined the World Bank as a senior advisor in 1997, before taking the role of director and UNESCO representative in France, Senegal, India, and Sri Lanka, among several others. It is particularly noteworthy that he recommended the UNESCO to recognize the Tirukkural as a world book. His inspirational work continues to this date, as Mr. Parsuramen is the founding president of the Global Rainbow Foundation, an NGO that aims to serve the most marginalized individuals of society by combating poverty and helping in the advancement of the physically challenged. சுருக்கமாக தமிழில் சொல்லப்போனால் எங்களுடைய ஆதரவாளர் திரு பரசுராமன் அவர்கள் கல்வி மற்றும் சமூக பணி ஆகிய இரு துறைகளிலும் வெற்றி அடைந்துள்ளார். 1983ஆம் ஆண்டில் மொரீஷியஸில் கல்வி, கலை, கலாச்சாரம் மற்றும் அறிவியல் அமைச்சராக ஆனார். அதற்கு பின்பு உலக வங்கியில் மூத்த ஆலோசகராக சேர்ந்தார். பிரான்ஸ், செனகல், இந்தியா, ஸ்ரீலங்கா ஆகிய நாடுகளில் யுனெஸ்கோ இயக்குனர் மற்றும் பிரதிநிதியாக பணியாற்றினார். குறிப்பாக திருக்குறள் ஒரு உலக புத்தகமாக அங்கீகரிக்க யுனெஸ்கோவை அவர்கள் கேட்டார். The Hindu newspaper cited Mr. Parsuramen at the World Classical Tamil Conference, stating that the preservation and promotion of language is key to development in any sphere of activity, and that people should be proud of speaking in their mother tongue. அதாவது நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் நமது தாய்மொழியை பேசுவதில் பெருமைப்பட வேண்டும் என்று கூறியுள்ளார். இதை நாம் எல்லோரும் ஏற்றுக்கொள்கிறோம் என்று நம்புகிறேன். And on that note, I'm sure you are all very eager to hear from Mr. Parsuramen himself. And before we hear from him, I now hand over to Mr. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Loganathan. You have given an excellent and fitting introduction to our chief guest. Now I call upon Dr. Parsuramen. Sir, welcome, sir. Now you can commence your lecture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mikka nandri. Ellorukkum vanakkam. Let me start from the beginning, as in our tradition, with all respect to all religious belief. You know, for me, being a Tamilian, being a Hindu, today is a very auspicious day for me and for all of us, I'm sure, because we are having this webinar at the time when we are also celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi. And let me start with that, because this is where everything starts for me. And let me share with you a few things about myself. And I would like to thank Ms. Lavanya Loganathan for the very kind presentation, introduction about me. And to you, Mr. Suresh Kumar Ranganathan, to my dear elder brother, Siva Pillai, to Celine George, and to all our brothers and sisters from the Tamil community, and from not only Tamil community, from lovers of Tamil, well-wishers of Tamil. First of all, my sincere greetings to all of you. I'd extend to all of you a very warm vanakkam. And let me share with you some of the personal introduction to add to what Lavanya has presented. I'll read to you a short message I wrote when I was celebrating the Silver Jubilee of my home Kovil. I started with saying that since my childhood, religion, prayers, and spirituality played an important role in my upbringing. In fact, my father and mother had inculcated in me the values of praying and invoking God's blessing in all that I do in life. And I live in a small village called Kapmalero in Mauritius in my early days. And each morning on the way to school, I would stop at the Murugan temple for prayers. Throughout my life, God has been my companion and has helped me to overcome each and every obstacle on my way. And my spiritual guru teaches me, I quote, "A little faith brings you to heaven, but absolute faith brings heaven to you," end quote. So in life, we need to have total faith in God, and He will guide and enlighten our path. I've experienced God's blessing all along my life, and I invite all devotees, all God lovers to surrender to God. Have total faith, and He will enlighten our path. In the context of Ganesh Chaturthi, let me share with you, in all intimacy, the prayer I do every morning and before starting my great mission that I'm into now, service to humanity every day in front of Lord Ganesha. And the prayer is, which is, well, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryesu Sarvada. And the translation in English is, O Lord, with a twisted trunk, in a huge mighty body, whose brilliance is equal to that of 10 million suns, I pray to thee, O Lord, to remove all obstacles from all good actions I perform. Nandri Vanakkam. This is by way of a very personal introduction to what guide me, to what enlighten me, and to what takes me forward. And I've shared that prayer with you because what we are doing today is not only a talk by me. I'm just an instrument. I've been asked to participate in that. But I consider it to be a historic move to revive SOS at the University of London. This is the most important goal we all want to achieve. And when Mr. Siva Pillai spoke to me a few years ago, I was in London. I visited SOS with him and other friends there, Celine George and others. And in front of Valluvar's statue, I must say something, a small flame was lighted in me. In addition to my great inspiration from Tiruvalluvar, from Tirukkural, that flame about reviving SOAS, which was implanted in the heart of the world at the University of London. I felt right from that time that each one of us, lovers of Tamil, we need to walk the talk now and move towards the realization of this dream that many of all of us Tamil well-wishers who are still alive should try to realize it during our lifetime. And therefore we need to start today. And that will be the introduction, if you want, of my intervention. I hope taking you through my presentation today will conclude with something meaningful towards this objective. And that's my main intention in this presentation. And I will therefore try to take you through this journey with me. We're giving you some background about Mauritius, the Tamil in Mauritius, and likewise take you along that path so that we can together come to a point where we are all united. I could see we have 37 participants with us. I'm sure others will join, but each one of us will have to be an ambassador to make this dream come true within our lifetime. So with these introductory words, let me start by, I'm not making an apology, but I'm really apologize to my own Tamil roots. I apologize, but I'll explain to you. I regret I cannot speak in Tamil, which is a rich and which is a great language, as we know, with a literary heritage fostering universal values woven in a synthesis of the best. I enjoy listening to Tamil. I love, the sweetness of Tamil. And let me share with you these words of Subramanya Bharati. If I quote, if there's light inside, the tongue will be illuminated. If like the floods, the art and poetry were to surge, even the blind can see and serve. With a taste of sweet Tamil, we shall see godliness here, end of quote. As I was saying, let me tell you, when I was a young man born in a small village, and let me take you to my beginning. Lavanya has spoken so highly of what I've achieved in life in Mauritius as minister for 13 years consecutively. And then I retired from politics at the age of 41, was called upon by the World Bank to join as senior policy advisor for the whole of Africa. you know, and then UNESCO called me to Paris to serve as director of UNESCO for globally for secondary education for 2 years. Then I voluntarily went to lead the Africa UNESCO office in Senegal, covering the whole of Africa for 4.5 years. Then I was called back to Paris as secretary of the executive board of UNESCO, a very high profile position, after which I requested to conclude my career from UNESCO in the land of my forefathers in New Delhi. I got this chance. I went to Delhi for 2 years, 2009, 2011, and I retired from Delhi as director of UNESCO in 2011. That's the brief journey which has taken me there. But let me briefly tell you that my own beginning, Lavanya has told you all that, you know, what I've achieved in life. And, but for me, this greatness achieved, or whatever I have achieved, cannot overlook where I started. First of all, let me tell all of you, my brothers and sisters, lovers of Tamil, I feel proud of my roots. My great-grandfather, Parsuramen, left Tamil Nadu, Salem district in 1884 and came to Mauritius. He was lured into the idea that going to Mauritius, you turn stones and you find gold. But when he came to Mauritius, he had to suffer a lot. It was indentured labor. It was very hard, you know, a lot of sufferings. But great thing that he did was they brought the spirit, they brought their values, they brought Tirukural with them. And they imbibed in us. I got the DNA from him. And I always pay tribute to my great-grandfather. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of my Tamil roots. And therefore, when I was a child, Tamil was not taught in school in those days, you know, and therefore in the 50s. And therefore, but fortunately, we had a very strong arrangement in our temple association, whereby you have what you call evening classes, or bite cars, they used to call it, evening classes. And the elder in the temple, who was our pujari, doesn't have great knowledge of Tamil, but he knows how to read, how to write, how to. So he taught us as a child of 8 years, 9 years, I followed class with him. And I can tell you, now I am 69, I still can read and write Tamil. But to speak Tamil, you need to be able to have a chance to be exposed to it. And this is the problem which our diaspora is facing across the world. My great-grandfather spoke Tamil. My grandfather spoke Tamil. My father spoke a little of Tamil. My mother didn't speak Tamil. And therefore, at home, father was very rarely speaking Tamil with us. So you could see how we couldn't catch it. But then one thing happened, and that was all destiny. When I eventually moved on and became Minister of Education in 1983, Education, Arts and Culture, I always felt that I should do something to compensate for what I've lost, what I cannot do, that is speak Tamil. And therefore, as Minister of Education, valuing the values of the importance of languages for any culture. If you want to destroy culture, the root is cut the language. So I'm very fully conscious of that. And as Minister of Culture, Education and Culture, I took the very strong and forward-looking policy decision that I have during my term of office. I was lucky to have the longest serving term of 13 consecutive years as Minister of Education. And that helped me to imprint on the Mauritian landscape, you know, the consolidation of all languages. And, you know, I believe in universality. I'm a Tamil, proud of Tamil, but I'm a world citizen. And we are all world citizens. We have to serve humanity at large. And Tamil has always been great vehicle to serve the world, as you know. And therefore, what I've done, I've been able to take major policy decisions. With when I became minister, Tamil was taught only in primary schools. And we have many languages in Mauritius. English is the official language. French is taught compulsorily. Then we have Hindi, Urdu, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, Arabic, Mandarin, Creole, Bhojpuri. All these languages are taught by government in all our primary school and secondary schools. So what I did, I wanted to leave it, for posterity, a legacy. So I took a policy fully supported by government to ensure that all languages that we have inherited and which are our treasures should be properly and strongly established in our constitution, in our Ministry of Education. So therefore, to date, through the action I took, Tamil went from primary to secondary and for all languages also, and then also up to tertiary. In Mauritius, you can study up to a degree in Tamil. You can also do master's. You can also have a doctorate with linkage with Tamil University. So this is established. Nobody can touch that. And it's applied for all languages that we have in Mauritius. And we have done promotion of Tamil in different ways. Tamil drama, a Tamil speaking union, Tamil cultural center. All these have been done by successive governments also. And therefore, to date, I must say, Tamil is very well entrenched in the country. But still, we have this problem of which our friends from overseas keep on telling me, even when I go to Tamil Nadu, the Tamil minister will say, well, you don't speak Tamil, but I've told you what is the background to it and what I have been able to do to establish it firmly in my country so that it stays forever. And that's therefore, and I would have loved to speak Tamil, but in my very hectic life, as you have seen, I couldn't find, I didn't have the exposure to speak the language regularly. So that was one major, constraint that I had. But my love for Tamil is there. It will be there all the time. I am proud of my roots, and I will do all that I can, to make sure that we can bring our drop of water in the ocean of Tamil. And this is what my mission has been all along consistently, and now also, and as I consider it as part of that mission towards the revival of SOAS at the University of London. So therefore, that was by way of introduction. As I said, I've been able to share with you why I cannot speak in Tamil, although I do have prepared a speech which I read in Tamil, but I cannot converse as you do. But I admire all of you for speaking this beautiful language and also the beautiful songs that we have in Tamil. So with these few words, let me come back now to the history of Tamils in Mauritius, take you to a journey about Tamil in Mauritius. And for this, I would like, with your permission, in fact, in my presentation, after my introduction, the introduction I made, I will refer to you to some very important statements made by the then Governor General of Mauritius, Sir Virasamy Rengadu, the then Prime Minister Sir Anirudh Jagnam, my Prime Minister for 13 years, then myself as Minister of Education, when we conducted the 7th World Tamil Conference. That 30 years ago. And you will see some of the main thinking there, reflection that will give you an idea how Tamil has been taken forward in Mauritius. The second thing then, after that, I'll come to the mission of SOAS. Third, and then I will talk to you about the importance of the statue of Valluvar at SOAS, how we should consider this as a blessing, and it should be also a platform for us to take Tamil, across the world and use this connection, this presence of Valluvar there. And coming to Valluvar, I will tell you, after a few years ago, I started as part of my journey of service to universality. After setting up a global Rainbow Foundation, which Lavanya mentioned, this was my way of giving back to society. And let me tell you the origin of that. And then I'll come to the other aspects about Valluvar. Let me share with you in all humility. You've heard a lot about what I've achieved, but let's go back to the roots for my Tamil roots. I was born in a thatch roof house with cow dung floor in a village. My mother was illiterate. My father 3 years primary in a family of 11 children. That mother who has never been to school was my Shakti. She was the one behind me. And all that I've achieved in life, becoming a minister of education, I owe it to my mother. Becoming senior advisor to the World Bank and the director of UNESCO at a global level, the global position, I owe it to my mother and my father. So you could see how deep it is in me about this sort of values that have been inculcated in, and I believe and I've lived through. And I still now, I have great reverence and respect for them because they've made me what I am today. So what I wanted to say on this is that when I retired, that was one first thing which have a declic in me about my roots, where I started my life, what I've achieved. And the second, and therefore that brought me to a major realization that from that beginning, I've been able to do in Mauritius, my own country, you know, this long service in politics. I was elected 4 times. I did not lose one single election. And let me share with you, in Mauritian politics, you have the consideration of ethnic group. In my constituency, we have only 10% of Tamil speaking. In spite of that, nobody could defeat me in the 4 general elections that I stand. This must mean a communion with the people. Although I was considered to be Tamil, but people transcend that belief in me because they saw the communion, the deep sense of service I had for the community, for the constituent, for the people of Mauritius as a whole. So I just want to bring that highlight in because you know, that's, I think, what distinguishes us Tamil. And Tiruvalluvar taught us that. And this sense of universality, this sense of respect, service to humanity is what I think should guide all of us. And therefore, Valluvar played a very important role in my life. My father used to keep on telling me when I was a child, you have to read Tirukkural. You have to apply the teaching of Tirukkural in your life. That was a very powerful lesson. So in 2014, after retiring, launching the Global Rainbow Foundation first in 2011, which is an NGO serving persons with disabilities. You know, I chose to look at the most vulnerable group in society. And I refused to go back to politics when I retired from UNESCO. If I had gone to politics, I would have been a minister today. And I would have, maybe I wouldn't have connected with you at this time. But I chose it differently, deliberately. Because when I look at where I started and what I've achieved in life, I felt deep inside me a great sense of gratitude. Gratitude in the sense that I said, God, you took me from that thatch roof house, and with a mother who is illiterate, you took me from there, you took me to the world. And this is something I could not plan or expect in a lifetime of 60 years, but you've done it. Therefore, it's time for me now to give back. It's time for me now to give back, because this is very, very important in my life. My feeling, my philosophy of life is that I have to, I need to give back in society. I give back to society because you cannot only benefit without giving back. So that's the whole philosophy. And my guru used to tell me, in life, we learn, we earn, and we have to return. And that's the philosophy which has been guiding me. So that's why you could see, therefore, Valluvar having such a strong influence on me. In 2014, I launched a mission along with my Global Rainbow Foundation serving the disabled. I launched the International Tirukkural Foundation, which was set up on the 15th of January, exactly on Valluvar Day, it was blessed. The foundation was registered on that date. And that was the mission of taking Tirukkural to the world. And that's why I could see the statue of Valluvar at SOS is very significant. It will enlighten us. And I have great conviction, great faith that Valluvar is guiding us. And for me, whatever contribution I'll make to the SOS initiative will be drawn from Valluvar. And I want all of us to feel that this is the key, the light, or the lighthouse that will bring us to what we want to achieve in life. Because Valluvar represents more than we could all imagine in terms of the light, the illumination Kural can bring to the world. And therefore, allow me on a personal to tell you, each time I'm in Tamil Nadu, since many years now, I go to Mylapore, where there's the Valluvar Kovil. Apart from the Valluvar Kottam, this Kovil where Valluvar was supposed to have stayed there, I go there and take blessings. And in front of the statue of Valluvar, I connect, I simply ask him to join us, to enlighten us, all the lovers of Tamil, all the lovers of Valluvar, of Kural, enlighten us so that we can bring your teachings, your universal teachings to the whole world. And that's why the move is to take Tirukkural, to the whole world. And therefore the journey we started in 2016 of a National Tirukkural Conference in Mauritius. Then we went to over international Kanyakumari, then Liverpool, then they did in Sydney, and then we went to New Delhi, UNESCO office. And now the plan is to take Tirukkural to UNESCO in Paris, UNESCO being the temple of peace. And Valluvar, I believe very strongly, and many of us, I'm sure will agree with me, that Tirukkural can be the great instrument to bring world peace at this time when we are living, when we see all the calamities happening in the world. And UNESCO's mission, as you know, is very much focused on world peace, on a culture of peace. And let me briefly share with you in the constitution of UNESCO, it says, since wars begins in the minds of man, it is in the minds of man that the defenses of peace must be built. So you could see the significance of that. And that's why, therefore, our move to take Tirukkural to the world is connected with UNESCO's mission of building peace in the world, and Tirukkural is the most valuable universal instrument we have, and we should all be proud of it and be inspired that we should take it all to the world, and that's what we plan to do, with this movement of taking Tirukkural to the world. Before concluding, I'll tell you some good development taking place in that initiative, so that all of us, we can take note of it and we can contribute to that. So let me come back now to my talk about Mauritius. And first of all, let me share with you what the then president, the president of the Governor General, we call him, because we became a republic in 1992. So Servira Samirwengadu, a proud member of the Tamil community, was Minister of Finance for many years, a leading leader in Mauritius. This is what he said when he addressed the conference in Mauritius in 1989, 30 years ago. He said, "It is a single honor for a small country like ours, whose memory does not go far into the past, to welcome scholars from the world over, to reflect on probably the oldest civilization of the world. And fortunately, history, anthropology, and archaeology have still a long way to go in the unraveling of that distant past." Excuse me. That is why the world of scholarship has always awaited the proceedings of such learned discourses. I should like, well, therefore he continues, he said that He referred to the tribute paid to the corporation of the 1500 in a Tamil inscription of 1088 AD, which said, I quote, brave men born to wander over many countries ever since the beginning of the Krita age, penetrating the regions of the six continents by land and water routes. And he continues by saying the Tamil community has made its mark in the economic field while maintaining always an emphasis on aram, ethics, and on religious devotion. Wherever they have gone, their first task has been to build a temple. And they have taken seriously the injunction of the poetess Avvayar, Kovil illada ooril kudiyirukka vendam. Thou shalt not live in a village without a temple. That's Mauritius, and I will tell you, in a small country like Mauritius with less than 1,000 Mauritians among the population of 1.3 million, we have more than 125 Tamil temples built along the Dravidian structure and architecture now. You go everywhere, you will see those beautiful temples in Mauritius. So you could see how strongly attached Mauritian Tamils are to the culture, to the religion, and to their past. And therefore, so what the then Governor General said, I believe that we should look beyond the academic discussions, important as they are, and see the serious problem of cultural continuity in overseas Indian communities and the impact of the media and of general modernization. That's the problem our diaspora is facing, as you know. I think it is time for us to sound a note of alarm. The Tamil language, like all ancestral languages, is coming increasingly under pressure, where the umbilical links with the mother country have been severed. In situations of communication, people opt for facility, and this inevitably reduces the domains in which the ancestral language is being used. I hope we all realize this is happening every day in the diaspora and in all our, in Mauritius, very much so. So he then referred to an exhibition we did on Tamil settlement in Mauritius. He said how the currency notes in Mauritius, I'm sure you may be aware of that. I think this is unique also. In the currency note, the rupee, Mauritian rupee, currency note carried Tamil inscription next to English. Tamil, you have English, Tamil, and then Hindi. This is the order of the inscription on the notes, which is something unique and very historic also for us. And many plants have given their name a Tamil name. And in those days, Tamil was important for communication as well. But the importance of the ancestral languages for communication has declined considerably. How do we deal with such a situation? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. How do we facilitate the retention of language and culture in such modernizing contexts? And he's suggesting that we should ponder on that problem. And I'm sure I invite all of us participating in this webinar to ponder over this major problem we are facing. And we have been doing our promotion of languages as much as we can, but it's relevant now. It's very relevant for all of us in the Tamil diaspora to reflect on the Indian languages in overseas Indian communities. What are the strategies for survival? I believe that's something which I would just like to share and invite you to reflect on. And therefore, we need to dedicate some time to that, to reflect it, and SOAS could be one of those institutions that could do work on that, bringing world lovers of Tamil together to reflect and contribute, continue to reflect and take appropriate action in that line. So therefore, the strategy of survival is for all for all languages. We need to adopt attitudes and instances of cooperation among ourselves. And we know that if one language disappears, all the languages will disappear. So therefore, in Mauritius, the concern we have is that the government has, I must say, and during my time, and all governments, I must admit, and we have chosen a conscious policy of economic modernization and cultural preservation, and maintain the teaching of ancestral languages in the schools, as well as giving religious subsidies for all the religion, and because we want to avoid a faceless nation. There's also been a heritage of commitment in the past, which has made it possible for government to promote, in addition to, I'll mention earlier, all the languages to you that we promote in Mauritius, almost 11 of them. And even at the gloomiest, and this served at least 100,000 students in Mauritius. And even at the gloomiest moment of economic, catastrophe that we faced in the 1980s, we refused to cut down on the funds that we were allocating to promote ancestral languages in Mauritius. That was never an issue, never questioned, will never be questioned, because it has been laid on solid rock, and nobody can come to touch that, because the moment you challenge this, you're breaking the fabric of Mauritius, the social fabric of Mauritius. As you know, Mauritius being multicultural, multi-religious, multiracial. If anybody dares, there was an attempt in 82s, to try to bring hegemony, to say that only one language should be the language that we all should speak, to be in unity. But that was totally put aside by the population, because we believe as UNESCO in cultural diversity. And if I may share with you one image of what I believe of my own country, Mauritius, that was the image I used when I was Minister of Culture as chairman of the National Organizing Committee for National Day. I used to say that Mauritius is a rainbow nation. And when I talk of a rainbow, the images, we need to, and if we want to have an authentic rainbow, we need to ensure that each color is nurtured. If one color of the rainbow fades, you don't have an authentic rainbow. And the other condition is the rainbow, the colors in the rainbow should be side by side. If one color wants to get out of the rainbow, there will be no authentic rainbow. So this is the image. And we are proud to say that the Tamil community all along has contributed significantly, has ensured that its color in the rainbow keeps on intact, and can flourish together with the other flowers. And that's the policy that we've been advocating all along. So therefore, I just want to share that with you, and also tell you how the policy has been very deliberate to ensure that this is well entrenched in Mauritius. And therefore, this could be a good, sort of lesson that we can draw for other countries also. So I think this is very important. And therefore, I would also make an appeal for international networking and working for the regional level, from international level. That's important for the Tamil community to try to find the best way of working together. And we should not go into what is the common practice, division. We know how much division we have over the various Tamil organizations and so on. My plea, in the name of Valluvar, let's all come together for a common cause. Our personal issues and so on should be put aside. This is a universal cause, and it's our duty to be able to play that. And this is what I appeal to all of us joining together for this great cause, for the great promotion of Tamil. Let me now come back to the Prime Minister of Mauritius, who made some wonderful reflection during this period. He started by saying, at the conference again 30 years ago, he said that we're talking about the conference itself on Tamil studies in Mauritius. He said this will deepen a general awareness of the precious legacy from an ancient civilization which has contributed significantly to the building of nations. The entire Mauritian community should feel proud of its Tamil component. This was said by the Prime Minister of Mauritius at that time, and at the very prestigious conference we organized. And he feels that the conference should strengthen us in our determination to preserve and develop our ancestral cultural heritage. And he refers to moral ethics like Tirukkural and Naladiyar, and epics like Ramayanam and Silappadigaram, and religious books like Tevaram, Tiruppugar, Tirumandiram, which he considers as real treasures to be shared with mankind as a whole. And he is reminded of the following words of wisdom of sea poet Tiluvaruvar. I quote Kural 396, where he quoted, "In sandy soil, when deep you delve, you reach the springs below. The more you learn, the freer streams of wisdom flow, end of quote. For the Prime Minister then, such a profound saying should further encourage the galaxy of scholars to continue to delve deep into the realms of knowledge and bring to light unknown treasures in the field of Dravidian and Tamil studies. So I hope that message is equally relevant today for all of us if we want to continue to preserve and promote our rich cultural heritage. And so let me now come back to what my reflection, which is still relevant today. I could see when I look around. When my address as Minister of Education and Chairman of this international conference, I said that during the conference, the participants, the scholars who have come from all over the world, from almost 25 countries, will have an opportunity of learning about our people from close quarters and appreciating the unstinted efforts we have made to create a society where men of different religions, languages, races, and colors have learned to live in good harmony. We have no doubt that the message of the seers of India, who have always viewed the world as Yadu Mure, Yavarum Kalir, you could see it in Mauritius. And that's what has been my guidance, my guidelight in life, in all my mission. So, and it's important also to reflect, no community cut off from its ancestral roots can preserve its religious and cultural identity unless there exists among its members a strong spirit of cooperation that welds them into one. By and large, this has been the present here. And it has enabled members of the Tamil community to nurture and maintain its sound health and rich the rich heritage which more than 2 centuries ago, laborers, artisans, and traders from India brought to our shores. The Tamils are generally recognized as a close-knit group. This cohesion of theirs and the preservation of the culture in all its purity have been made possible through the attachment they have always had for prayers, for worship, and particularly the reverence for the temples which their ancestors built, ever since their arrival in every village and every town. And I mentioned that earlier to you. And those ceremonies, I can tell you, even to date, in 2020, those ceremonies, those temples that you see in Mauritius, you will see that there's a newly kindled ardor, and for the prayer, for the ceremony, for the culture in Mauritius. And that I think is a good thing to keep us going and keep us moving forward. As a language, Tamil, unfortunately, has not thrived as been. I would like to, confess that. And various explanation may be offered. Numerically, the Tamils constitute a small community compared with other ethnic groups, just hardly 10% of the 8% of the population. They have lived mainly in the towns and scattered in many villages of the island. Consequently, Tamil language lost ground amidst the preponderance of others and became less and less spoken. But the diehards in those days, in the early days, were there. They clung to their mother tongue, and many, through their pioneering work, set up private school to keep it alive. On the other hand, the declared policy of government to preserve ancestral languages and culture is bearing fruit today, so that the picture is now brighter. So that part of the history and the policy that was taken. And I would also like to add one thing which I deeply believe in. We have received so much from India, from the roots, and yet apart from enriching ourselves with the precepts, teachings, and prayers, we have not given much back in return to express our gratitude. That's a different philosophy I have about what each one of us has to look forward to doing, in addition to expecting from Tamil Nadu what we expect from them in the promotion of the languages. So therefore, I would like to say that each one of us have a duty to work towards regaining lost ground and make sure that we reverse the situation of poorness into one of full bloom for the Tamil language, for the Tamil culture, for the Tamil generally. And therefore, I would like therefore to say that this is something which I'm sure will guide us all and will take us to what we want to achieve. And I would like, therefore, to conclude on this note, taking you to what were the history of Tamil in Mauritius. Let me come now to the other point I wanted to address, is the initiative for the SOAS to revive the Tamil studies at the University of London. As you know, this is a very noble initiative. I will briefly mention that, but my appeal to all of you, let's each one of us take it at heart that this initiative is not only meant to set up something in London. It has far-reaching significance, you know, and as we know, what the objective of SOS is, first of all, preserving Tamil resources in the library, SOS library, where you want to ensure that the wealth of resources written in Tamil and about Tamil studies in the library are properly preserved for the study and appreciation of future generations. That's very important. Projects range from digitalization and conservation of existing terms in the collection, so that these are available to read online, to the accurate cataloging and storage of newly acquired and fragile pieces. And the modernization of access to the libraries, the resources, will also be very significant in this day, when now we are following COVID-19, we are resorting compulsorily. By no chance we have to, you know, it's the rule now, you have to go online. And this is the thing that we have to do also at the moment. And I will not elaborate more, a lot has been done in that, but I would like again to salute the initiative in 1996 for the Tamil Nadu government to generously gift the statue of Valluvar, which is prominently on the campus, and it has become part of the school identity, not only for Tamil studies. I could see in the pictures from the SOS University that you have students from following different languages. After graduating, they would come with a graduation gown and come and took pictures with Valluvar. So you could see how it is impacting in a universal way, his presence there. So this is a great thing, and I hope this is what we will use. We will make sure that we all pay respect and tribute to the presence of Valluvar in London at SOAS to build up that mission that we are all engaged in to promote Tirukkural globally, and also to bring SOS back to its renaissance. So therefore, I would like to take the last point of my intervention to bring to you an update on what's happening, and this could also relate to the initiative of SOS. You know, when the move I've been making together with many organizations, many well-wishers, of taking Tirukkural to the world, UNESCO, has managed to catch the very keen attention of the government of Tamil Nadu. And I was very pleased that in 2 years ago, last year, in fact, the Tamil Nadu government took a very major initiative. They took the decision to set up a committee, providing the funding for it, a committee where the minister, Pandya Rajan, the Minister of Tamil Development, is chair, plus with other eminent members, and I've been appointed as a member of this committee. The mission of this committee is to recognize Tirukkural as a world book at UNESCO, and also to preserve the Tamil from the classic literature of the world to the Sangam literature, and also to look at make sure that Tirukkural goes to the world with all its magnificence, with all its teachings, with all its universality, and together with UNESCO contribute to world peace. That's why I mentioned that earlier to you. But this is a major step, because Tamil Nadu government has taken this initiative in a policy decision, in a decision of the government, and therefore this augurs well. We had the first, because of COVID, we couldn't meet earlier, but we had last week a meeting, this week in fact, a meeting with that committee chaired by the minister, where we've set the guidelines now how to move from here, from today to the conference at UNESCO, which we plan to do next year. And that will be another big event. And I believe, and I talked to Mr. Sivapille during my visit to London, that SOAS should get prepared to participate in a very strong way at this international meeting of taking Tirukkural to the world, because you have it there and you need to use all that. So that's one point I wanted to come to. And let me, also mention to you that the other thing I want to draw attention to is the importance of, excuse me 1 second. I will conclude in a few minutes. I hope I've not taken too much time, Mr. Ranganathan.
No, sir, please go ahead.
I was letting flow.
Please take your time.
No, how much time have I taken already?
No. You have.
I didn't count.
You can take another 10 minutes, sir, without any problem.
Fine. No, that's enough. Less than 10. I'll finish. But I'll finish on a note which is very important. We all know that. We all know the University of Tirukkural. I don't think we need to explain that to comment on that. It's widely recognized globally. But I think we also know the importance of Mahatma Gandhi to India and to the world. Here I'm trying to connect Mahatma Gandhi to Tirukkural and to what we want to do at SOAS also. And Gandhi, I must recall, his ideology was strengthened more than ever about non-violence philosophy when Gandhiji read Tirukkural, the sacred and secular scripture of the Tamils, composed in classical Tamil language more than 2,000 years ago. In fact, when Gandhiji discussed with Tolstoy, the most celebrated Russian writer of the great book War and Peace, about his new ideology of nonviolence, which was in a way exhibited in the earlier Tamil epics as ethical heroism or moral heroism as against martial heroism, Tolstoy told Gandhiji that these ideals are given a very powerful expression in a Tamil classical text, namely Tirukkural. And Tolstoy said, excuse me, Tolstoy said that he read this from a German translation of Tirukkural. The overjoyed Gandhiji wanted to read Tirukkural in the original Tamil language, which compelled him to learn Tamil language in South Africa with a native freedom fighter, namely Tillaiyadi Valiyammai, who became the Tamil teacher of Mahatmaji. Gandhiji's close study of Tirukkural strengthened his conviction about non-violence more than ever and made him a martyr for the cause of world peace and harmonious living. He was not only a martyr, but a great pilgrim who was always in pilgrimage, a sacred journey toward the temple of world peace. I'm bringing that to light because we all know the influence of Gandhi globally and also among all the governments, So, and Gandhi accepted Tiruvalluvar as his Gurudev before he called Tagore as a Gurudev. It is obvious that the deep impact exerted by the Tamil ethical work Tirukkural on the mental makeup of Mahatmaji is indeed immense, enormous, and marvelous. Mahatma Gandhi described Tirukkural as a text of indispensable authority on moral life. He said that the maxims of Valluvar has touched my soul. There is none who has given such a treasure of wisdom like him. This clearly shows that the ethical teachings of Tirukkural has become a part and parcel of Mahatma Gandhi's life. In fact, Tirukkural, as we know, is recognized as one of the greatest pieces of literature of all times. It's a book for all of humanity and eternal. Let me conclude on this note about Gandhi and Tirukkural, but bringing to you the greatness of Tirukkural itself. I will just refer to this part in my intervention. The ancient Tamil poets, as well as the kings of the Sri Tamil kingdom, Chera, Chola, and Pandya, acknowledge the erudite magnitude of the Tirukkural, an ancient story enunciate the greatness of the Tirukkural. Let me refer to that. At the time of its first presentation to the Pandyan king's court, King Senbaga Pandyan wanted to gauge the greatness of this piece. Hence, he decided to place the manuscript of Kural along with other contemporary works, on the golden lotus plank at the Madurai Meenakshi temple. This plank is considered sacred and is known to have magical powers that can identify exemplary manuscripts. While all other manuscripts were rejected, the Tirukural was accepted and ever since has been an essential piece of Tamil literature. I am referring to that to bring in all of us, lovers of Tamil, that in whatever we do, I believe we need to be guided by Tirukural. We need to be guided by Tiruvalluvar. So that will bring us to the light. That will unite all of us. That's the unifying factor we have among us, because it's a globally unifying, universal instrument that is accepted by so many nations. So therefore, we need to do that. We need to bring in Gandhi there, and we need SOAS should revive itself through these teachings so that we can attract the support that we need from Tamil Nadu government, from central government of India, because it's important for us to get these two, and also all the Tamil diaspora across the world. But let me come back to the UK itself. Mr. Siva Pillai was kind enough to share with me a document about the all-party parliamentary group on modern languages, Manifesto for Languages in UK, and where it says that the Manifesto for Languages to make the case for improving the linguistic skills base of the UK. And in the manifesto, they says, the latest cutting-edge research shows that in the 21st century, speaking only English is as much of a disadvantage as speaking no English. Knowledge of other languages and other cultures is important for education and skills, the economy, international engagement, defense and security, and community relations. 2015 general election provides an ideal opportunity to make some milestone commitments for the short, medium, and long term to making a step change in the UK's national capacity in modern languages. And therefore, they decided to set up this framework for national recovery in language learning, where they commit themselves to changing the reputation of UK citizens as poor linguists, providing high quality language learning for all children throughout the UK from age 7 onwards, aiming for every child to have a language qualification by the end of secondary school, encouraging business and employers to get involved in tackling the crisis and maintaining and developing UK expertise at higher education level. I believe you have something which is an opportunity. As a politician, as a former politician, I'm no longer a politician now, I'm more humanist. But as a politician, I will take it as an opportunity. Let's tag us to this manifesto, electoral manifesto. Let's the Tamilians in UK and the SOAS and other organizations, you refer to this all-party manifesto. Get UK government to support you also on this basis, because you have so many of the Tamil diaspora in UK. Not only make your contribution to the SOAS, but use your political influences. You know, the Indian, the Asians in general, as you know, influence politics in US, in Canada, Australia, in UK, and you heard what President Boris Johnson stated. I'm sure you must have come across this video where he talked about Tamil. I don't know, I'm sure you have. If you have, I can share it, but I'm sure you all know about that, where he speaks so proudly of Tamil. All these are things that you should catch. And as a politician, I was very astute in following all these details, catching them, and therefore using them to move forward with our agenda. So this is some of the political strategy I could share with you. But let me conclude now in all humility. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. I have opened my heart to you. I think this is the first time I've made such a speech with so much of intimacy, so much of sharing, because I feel that this family is a great family, and I have to share with you whatever I have. And let me conclude by telling you that in this phase of my life, after my retirement in 2011, when I decided to dedicate myself to service to humanity. And this has 3 components. One component is serving the most vulnerable, the disabled. This is my first love. because I need to do, I need not only divinity, you need to have divinity with humanity. And the second one is doing all that I can in all modesty to ensure that Tamil thrives, Tamil blossom more beautifully again in this world. That's the second mission. And the third is consolidate my faith in God, because that's the only thing that will take us forward, that will take whatever we wish forward. So with these words, let me conclude by thanking all of you for your kind attention. I'll be very happy to take on questions if you have, feel free. And I'm honored also, Mr. Sivapile mentioned that he has given me some sort of responsibility. I believe it's more a responsibility, not an honor, to be associated with TamilStudiesUK, right? I feel it more a duty for me. And thank you, Sivapile, and the members of the committee there for associating with the UK Tamil Studies. I'll be very happy to associate. I'll be happy to give you some of my time for that. And I conclude by telling you a pledge I've taken in life since my retirement, age 60. I have decided that all the years that will be given to me, because I don't decide on how many years I will live. You know, it's all God. So far he has given me 9 years more from 60, but whatever years he will give me will be dedicated to these 3 noble missions I've told you: service to humanity, service to Tamil, and service to the world. Mikka Nandri, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parsuramen. It's an excellent speech. The beautiful journey you started from 1884, from the moment of your great-grandfather to Mauritius, and you have covered a wide range of areas. And certainly, we are very, very thankful for the directions you have given for us to move forward, and the amount of support you have given to us. It's a very inspirative speech, and I mean, we are delighted to be having with you here. Thank you so much, sir. I still remember your word: earn, learn, and return.
No, learn,
learn, and return. So I'm so happy to say that because it's we'll take it as a mantra from today, and it really suits us to serve the humanity, as you said, in 3 forms. Thank you so much. And also you mentioned Tirukkural is the most valuable universal instrument. Excellently you're told. And we will be a part of your mission to make Tirukkural as a word book. Thank you so much, sir. I'm extremely happy to be for having you here. And maybe we'll start asking questions. To start with, let me ask one question to you on my behalf. In the information technology and digital age, what are the challenges what are the changes rather we need to bring to the Tamil studies? Because the world is moving into totally digital now. So what are the changes you are expecting us to bring in Tamil studies?
You know, this is globally being debated now, being reflected in a very serious manner. You know, following COVID-19, although the development was taking place before, but COVID-19 has created a completely new paradigm, you know. And many universities, as you may know, many higher education institutions and even secondary schools are trying to grapple with that by going online, you know. And therefore, and even today what we're doing, we are meeting, not in a physical conference, not like the conference I had in Mauritius 30 years ago, where physically everybody was there, you know. But through the technology, we are able to gather so many people from different countries. We can communicate, we can share experiences, we can learn from each other. So therefore, I would advocate strongly that we need to use extensively technology. And SOAS I think next time we need to have a discussion on the mission and the modalities for SOAS to conduct its activity. You know, because that is very important. To get the greatest impact, we should find new ways of doing it, you know, and that will make it more cost effective also. So therefore, I believe for me, for Tamil studies, we need to do it. And we need to use all the technology in its different forms. The social media, you know, I have, for example, friends in Tamil Nadu who have developed wonderful apps for Tirukkural, you know, and you just, whenever I have to make a speech and I have to refer to Tirukkural, I go to this app, I just put the word I want, be it governance, be it anything, and I get the Kural verse, you know, ready, so that I can use that. So you understand what I mean, eh? So therefore, we need to use technology, and we have many brilliant Tamilians who are very good in IT, who are skillful in doing that. And if you get them to focus on Tamil language and Tirukkural, I'm sure you'll get many people joining you together in a very disinterested way. You know, the challenge for all of us, as you know, I'll talk to you very frankly, right? Even when I was a politician, I was very outspoken on my frankness about things. I must sincerely tell you, I regret that Tamil Nadu government has not realized. I've made various appeals to them, various interventions. They have not realized that they have a key role and a key duty to promote Tamil globally. We certainly have to give back, I agree. We have to give back to Tamil Nadu, but they have all the leverages. They have all the treasures there. They have all the languages, the institutions available. It's just to share it. If they follow Valluvar, you know, Tamil will blossom so quickly. So I am making that point. I've made it to them, and I hope this will be one factor which will help us to move quicker at SOAS and at other institutions. But I hope the committee to promote Kural to take Kural to the world at UNESCO, where I'm an active member there, I will make sure the message get across. And SOS also be placed on the agenda so that we can take it together. Because the advantage of having the SOAS, you know, at University of London, I believe we should take it as an opportunity, great opportunity, with Valluvar present, certainly. Because this is the center of knowledge, as you know, in the world. And by connecting it, and G.U. Pope, as you know, we're going to celebrate his bicentenary, and G.U. Pope from Oxford, from Oxford University, and you have Cambridge, where you have the Valluvar, Ramanujan is there, at Cambridge. Now we can bring in all these major institutions together with the US and other countries and build up a momentum. Correct. Thank you.
Correct.
Sorry, I've taken more time in my reply.
No, it is very useful to us. Now I will request Mr. Dharmendran, our treasurer, to ask a question, please.
If you allow me, Mr. Ranganathan, yes, before your treasurer speaks, let me say one thing. I told Mr. Siva Pillai that each one of us, we need now to walk the talk. And I told him that I've taken a personal commitment to contribute the £1,000 to the fundraising initiative. I've started,
thank you so much,
started making a partial contribution of £200, but before the end of the year, my £1,000 will be in the funds of the SOAS. Let me share with you.
Thank you for the role.
Don't think that as a former politician, I am a rich man. I didn't make money as politics. I live within my pensions as a member of parliament and from UNESCO, and that is enough for me. My family, my children have already done well. They're all professionals. So now is my time to give back, to share. Therefore, it's with a great heart that I responded to this appeal to donate the £1,000 to this fund. And I will be advocating that with as many people as possible, right? And that I think all of us should do to reach the objective at the earliest, at least during our lifetime. Then, you know, we don't know how many days, how many years we have, but each one of us has to do it now, because we realize one thing. If you leave tomorrow when God rings the bell, we cannot do anything. We have to go. And you will not carry any of the big thing you have with you. You will not carry all the wealth you have with you. You know that. This will go, you will leave them there. So why not in your lifetime make this dedication, provide this support, which £1,000 is not a big deal for many of us, you know? So we can do that. And that will be for posterity. That will be for our duty to Tamil. I now leave the treasurer to come and tell us more about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You are a standing role model for us, and definitely thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your commitment. நான் இப்பொழுது திரு தர்மேந்திரன் அவர்களை அழைக்கிறேன். ஐயா, நீங்கள் பேசலாம்.
Good evening. How can I say after you? What can I say? Yeah, touch everything. Yeah, whatever we have to do. Unity, donations. Yeah, touch everything. I don't have any words to say, sir. Sorry, but I appreciate your honesty, because you are a politician. Especially that's why I want to appreciate your honesty. Nowadays, politicians don't have, we can't trust them. But because you are finished, you are an honest politician, and you honestly wanted Tamil to be recognized. So thank you very much for that, sir. That's all I can say.
Thank you, திரு தர்மேந்திரனுக்கு நன்றி உங்களுக்கு. வேறு யாரேனும் கேள்வி கேட்க விரும்புகிறீர்கள் என்றால் உங்களுடைய ரைஸ் ஹேண்ட்ஸ் பட்டனை அழுத்தவும். உங்களுடைய கேள்விகளை சாட் மூலமாகவும் தெரிவிக்கலாம். அதை நாங்கள் கேட்க விரும்புகிறோம். ஜனனி பாலசுப்ரமணியம் அவர்கள் ஒரு கேள்வியை கேட்க விரும்புகிறார். சார், there is a question for you from Jenny Balasubramaniam.
Yes.
How does the Tamil language, culture and identity help in preservation of the Coolie heritage in Mauritius?
Well, you know, the universality of Tamil to start with, you know, the wide vision we have about life, about society, about living with other people. This has been the strength of the Tamil community in Mauritius to make its contribution. You know, when we came here as indentured laborers, along with others from other parts of India, from Africa, and those who came from Europe and so on, you know, we managed to bring that civilization, the teachings, the philosophy of Tamil to Mauritius. And as you heard me saying, quoting the Prime Minister, quoting the former Governor General, they've all made that, and it's recognized in Mauritius that Tamil has played a key role, you know, and by consolidating that first of all, by preserving, promoting, flourishing our own language and culture, but in that same way, with our universal outlook, with our tolerance, with our value that the whole world is one family, we have been able to promote that. So I hope I've replied to your question that, you know, although the Tamil came as coolies, you say, as indentured laborers, but their head was high, you know, and so they have done a lot in that sense, and still the imprints are there. And therefore, I believe this is something which will be lasting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I need to ask one more question from you. In primary school, other than English and French, how many languages a child can take for learning?
Very good. The official language, which is compulsory, is English. Then you have to take French compulsorily, so 2. Then you choose, depending on your linguistic group, you choose among Hindi, Urdu, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, Mandarin, Arabic, you know, and also Bhojpuri and the local language Creole. You see all the languages, so that you can choose a third language. But the fact that everybody speaks the local language Creole, you understand what I mean? Now, this is the language 100% people speak. So therefore, that also has an influence in the education.
Okay.
So, but officially, 3 languages. We have a 3-language policy. And if I may say so, that this has greatly helped
Okay.
Mauritian to master languages. You know, and even for me,
Okay.
having a knowledge of English and French was so useful for me as director of UNESCO, because you can interact with most of the leading, you know, people. The language there, as you know, English and French, plus all the languages are very universal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. ஆனந்த் சிவானந்தி அவர்கள் ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்க விரும்புகிறார்கள். சிவானந்தி அம்மா, you can ask your question, please.
முதற்கண் ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
உங்களுக்கு ஒரு திருக்குறளால ஒரு ஒரு சின்ன மாலை மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு ஒரு வரவேற்பு. கண்ணோட்டம் என்னும் களிப்பெரும் காரிகை உண்மையான் உண்டி உலகு. இந்த உலகம் அன்பும் இரக்கமும் இணைந்த கண்ணோட்டம் எனப்படுகிற பெரும் அழகை கொண்டவர்கள் இருப்பதால் பெருமை அடைகிறது ஐயா. மிகவும் 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 மகிழ்ச்சி ஐயா, உங்களது வள்ளுவனின் குரலில் வாழ்ந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறீர்கள் என்று நினைக்கும் போது கடல் கடந்த உலகத் தமிழர்கள் அனைவரும் சார்பாகவும் எனக்கு உங்களது உரை கேட்டு மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி ஐயா. நன்றி.
Ranganathan, would you kindly help me with the brief translation?
Yeah. Shivanandi Amma, do you want to translate in English and give it to him if you want? I mean, you are the creator.
My apology.
Now, what you Shivanandi Amma, இப்போ என்ன சொன்னீங்களோ அது இங்கிலீஷ்ல நீங்க சொன்னீங்கன்னா ஐயாவும் புரிஞ்சு பாருங்க. உங்க மியூட்ல இருக்கு உங்களோட இது. And I will remove the mute. 1 minute. உங்க மியூட் எடுத்துட்டு பேசுங்கம்மா.
அது இன்னும் மியூட்ல இருக்குது சிவானந்தி அம்மா, அன்மியூட் பண்ணுங்க.
நான் எடுக்கிறேன்.
ஓகே.
சிவானந்தி அம்மா, நீங்க பேசுங்க இப்ப.
ஐயா வணக்கம். வெல்கம் டு அவர் SOAS.
Yeah, translate. Yes.
ஐயா வணக்கம். வெல்கம் டு SOAS Studies, TamilStudiesUK.
Very good, thank you.
Armoogum Parsuramen ஐயா. We are very appreciate your speech, very nice, because you are very beloved to Thiruvalluvar. Valluvar in Kural is, I just wanted to one special Kural for you. This world, this very kind, very love to focus to everybody. That's why we are getting very proud people from Mauritius, Parsuramen ayya, to SOAS University. And great speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shivanandi Amma.
Dayabaran is waiting.
திரு தயாபரன், நீங்கள் கேள்வி எதுவும் கேட்க விரும்பினீங்களா கேட்கலாம். உங்களுடைய மியூட் விளக்கப்படுகிறது. He is Thanikachalam Dayabaran. He want to ask some questions to you, Mr. Parsuramen.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sir Kumar.
Your volume is not clear, sir. You have to increase your volume, please.
For me?
No.
No, sir. I'm requesting Dayabaran.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Start.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Parsuramen, because I've been surprised to hear. I couldn't believe my eyes and ears to such a powerful speech from Mauritius. And I've seen the Valluvam comes from Mauritius. That's a great honor to us to see such a inside depth knowledge of Valluvam and the passion towards humanity and towards the Tamil language. So we've been honored to be in here the last 1 hour. So I have one question. So say in your period, you said you couldn't have mean to learn Tamil, but now there are junior schools or the secondary schools, they can learn Tamil language from the schools itself. So how do you manage to teach Tamil in there, like getting the teachers? Where do you get the teachers? And what is the percentage of the young population are learning Tamil? And are they able to speak Tamil? Are they able to read and write in Tamil at the moment? And so we need to know a little bit about the youngsters and their ability to talk and read in Tamil. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's a very good question. The good thing is that since we are offering government teachers teach Tamil from primary to, as I said, university. So therefore, it's available for everybody. There's no restriction, right? Even in a school, if you have only 5 Tamil students, there will be a teacher there, you know, and a teacher paid by government, a government teacher. Now, where do we get our teachers? In the past, we used to get teachers in the early years, you know, when we were promoting Tamil. Some teachers from Tamil Nadu came. But now we have, over the years, we train our own teachers, train primary school teachers, train secondary school teachers. We have graduates, many postgraduates now in Tamil, doctorates also, a few of them have done that. So we have a galaxy of people who can teach the language. And government policy is to recruit teachers among A-level students, you know, O-level and A-level students, 10th grade and 12th grade, who have done Tamil. Now it's more towards 12th grade and degree holders. So, you know, we have many of them. So therefore, we have the necessary human resources to recruit teachers. We have more than 400 to 500 teachers working in schools in Mauritius. That's for the Tamil, but you have it for the other languages also. You see? So therefore, and they are government teachers, well paid. So therefore, they have all the incentive to be able to work properly and be a Tamil teacher. And I know many youngsters, they study Tamil, they like to study Tamil so that they can get the job as a teacher of Tamil also. That's one thing which is good. But the whole challenge of speaking Tamil is a big problem. Even Tamil teachers don't speak Tamil very fluently, very often, you know, that's the problem. So it's a question of teaching the language without learning the spoken one. And here I would be very honest with you that the problem we have now in the family, there's not much of spoken Tamil because the parents themselves were not those, like me, for example, I didn't speak Tamil because I didn't learn it and I couldn't speak it properly, you know. So in that way, the parents themselves do not speak Tamil, most of them. Few of them do. Those who have learned Tamil, who can speak Tamil with their children, they do it, you know. But therefore, this is one factor we are facing. Government has set up a Tamil speaking union to promote the speaking of Tamil. All these efforts are there. But because of the competition, imagine a child going to primary, he has to learn English. He has to learn compulsorily French. Then all the other subjects that you do, you know, sciences, geography, whatever the subject that you have to learn, maths and so on. And then he takes Tamil also, suppose all the Tamil speak. So he has these 3 languages. And English being the official language, he has to concentrate on English. In spite of that, all our Tamils, most of our Tamil students, I would say almost all of them, would take Tamil as the optional language. So with this, they get through up to primary. But when you come to secondary, you have to choose among, say, 10, 14 subjects. You know, again, there you see how it narrows down to competition. And when the student has to take part in exam, be it 10th grade or 12th grade, you know, not all of them could take Tamil to take it along with them because they have choices over the subject. Suppose they want to do science, they want to do arts and whatever. I would say quite a number of them would take Tamil up to A-level and then go to university. But you see the competition we are living in. And we don't have any Tamil medium school like in Malaysia, Singapore, right? So given that situation, but at the same time, I would say that the love for Tamil is very strong. They would do prayers in Tamil, you know, and the students who have learned Tamil could read. They will sing in Tamil, participate in many competitions, drama in Tamil, and so on and so on. So they are doing it, but I would admit that it's not enough, right? And this is the challenge for us to encourage more of Tamil speaking in Mauritius. It's a challenge, I must say, in the light of all the competition. It should not be a pretext, I agree. We should not take it as a pretext and say that because of so many things we cannot do it. We have to do it, and every effort is being made. But let's hope we can find new ways through the international community to promote it and get it accessible through the social media, through the technology, so that every family can access and can learn and can say few words in Tamil. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for giving a excellent explanation. And we are really time to close. We can very last question, Anand Vijayan. If you could ask your question very shortly, we can go ahead and we can close.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Yes, my name is Anand Vijayan. I'm from London. I really enjoyed listening to your great talk, sir. It's really an inspirational talk. You touched many aspects of life, especially relevant to Tamil people, about your upbringing and the difficulties in speaking Tamil, even though you describe yourself as a Tamil, and also the importance of the continuity, cultural continuity you touched. It's very important. That's what we are also trying to achieve in this country. Even though we have large number of Tamil speaking people, still passing that continuity to the next generation is a challenge, right? So this is why I think we should bring all the Tamils together from different parts of the world. And also to maintain this continuity, we should have a forum or a publication. So where we all can interact in Tamil openly, especially with your help as a ex-UNESCO experience, with your experience as a UNESCO person, as well as a politician. I wondered whether you can help us in establishing such a forum. That is one of my...
Yeah.
If I may briefly respond, I think I could see some opportunities coming up. One, with this committee instituted by the Tamil Nadu government to take Tirukkural to the UNESCO, to the world. That one forum which I will use for that purpose. But the other one is SOAS. SOAS mission can be global. It should be global, you know, because where you are located. And as a politician, if I may tell you what I would have done if I was still active as a politician, I would use my office as minister or whatever, you know, I would have canvassed strongly the central government of India and the state government of Tamil Nadu, right, to bring its full support to that initiative. Once you get that, then, you know, canvass from different countries. I was pleased when I was in Sydney, in Australia, participating in an international Tirukkural conference. A member of parliament came and addressed. He was such a defender. And he has already agreed now that there will be a Tamil chair in a university in Australia. You see? So you have to bring these people on board. He was well received, well honored during the conference, and this is the result. So we Tamilians, from the political side, we need to connect with the parties, those who, you know, all the parties, and try to get our agenda on their manifesto. That's why I mentioned about the all language group initiative manifesto in the manifesto. As a good opportunist, in a good sense, you need to take that, talk to the MPs, canvass them, and Boris Johnson himself has spoken so highly of Tamil. I would advise you, you have a vote also. Use that influence. You know, that's the way to do it. You know, everybody does that. You know that everybody does that lobbying for their interests. And here you're coming with a very noble cause and a universal. They will like it, they will support it because of all the thing you bring forward, and all of them are disinterested. You're contributing to a larger mission, and it will help the country also. So take all these advantages, connect with your MPs, connect with your Tamilian MPs if you have, or, you know, but the others also will help you once you connect, once you show wisdom in the way you handle political strategies, you know, and that will help you to move forward. There's no other way, because, you know, if the government supports you, like in Mauritius, you imagine, you don't have that in UK. Tamil teachers recruited by government of UK to teach Tamil, you don't have that. You see what I mean? Whereas we have teachers recruited by government for all the languages. We never considered it a burden. We never considered a financial burden to have one teacher for 5 students in a school, be it Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, whatever you name it. So you understand my point, That's because we could do it because we were politically active and involved in that. But now you can use this strategy to get other politicians in the various countries where you are to connect with them. And I take you the example of Australia because I know I was there. I know how it worked beautifully, you know, and this is the way for us to bring them. We cannot do it alone. Tamil alone, we cannot do it because we need to get others also to join. And we have to mobilize all the Tamil lovers around the world, you know, and bring them on board so that you can put it as a universal mission. Thank you. I hope I've replied to your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Parsuramen. Last few words from you. You want to conclude your
my last
speech
word
by,
is,
you want to...
Yeah, my last word is, I invoke Tiruvalluvar, I invoke Lord Ganesha on this auspicious occasion of Ganesh Charuthi. That I invoke that because this is what guides me, what takes me forward in my life. I invoke to invite as many Tamilians all over the world to contribute to this initiative. Let's make the SOAS fundraising a reality.
Yes.
It doesn't, we need to walk the talk. As I said at the end of this conference, for me, my main objective, as you could see in my talk, although I took you on a journey of myself and Tamils in Mauritius and so on, but my only appeal to each and every one of us, let's each and every one of us be an ambassador to promote this fundraising activity in this lifetime. Do it, you know, so that we can raise that amount and we can get started. But I would recommend it strongly to UK Tamil Studies that we have a reflection on how, when can we start developing a proper action plan, review the current plan that you have for SOS, you know, so that we can do things, we can start doing things to keep the ball rolling. You can never expect to get all the money at one time. I had to do that as minister because when I took the ministership, it was a very critical, catastrophic economic situation. From there, you have to build. So you have to be an opportunist in the sense that what can SOS start doing now? How can it bring the momentum? How can it attract other people to join on the way? You know, that should be the strategy forward for SOS so that it can start running and get people to come and join and consolidate it and reach the objective. That's my last word. So therefore, my last word would be each one of us be an ambassador to support this global initiative. And also, let's look at it, each one of us say how we can make it the instrument we want it to be to promote Tamil globally. Mikka Nandri. Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent, sir. Excellent. And definitely thank you for your great support and the advice you gave it to us. And as you said, the statue of Tiruvalluvar in SOS will be the guide, will guide us to complete our mission for re-establishing the Tamil studies in SOS, London University. Mikka Nandri. நாம் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் இறுதி பகுதிக்கு வந்து விட்டோம். உங்களுடைய அத்துணை பேருக்கும் இதில் கலந்து கொண்டு சிறப்பித்த அத்துணை பேருக்கும் எங்களுடைய மகத்தான நன்றி. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் எங்களுக்கு பெரிதும் உறுதுணையாக இருக்கும் திரு விமல், திரு நிலா, எங்களுடைய சான்றோர் சந்திப்பு நிகழ்ச்சியின் நிர்வாக குழு உறுப்பினர்கள் ஆகிய அனைவருக்கும் எங்களுடைய நன்றியை இந்த தருணத்திலே நாங்கள் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புகிறோம். மிகவும் சிறப்பாக நடந்து கொண்டிருக்கும் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் அடுத்த வார நிகழ்ச்சியில் திரு ரவி அவர்கள், டாக்டர் ரவி அவர்கள் கலந்து கொள்ள சம்மதித்திருக்கிறார். அவர் கல்வெட்டுகளில் தமிழ் மருத்துவம் என்ற தலைப்பிலே பேசுவதாக இருக்கிறார். அதை கண்டிப்பாக கலந்து கொள்ளும்படி உங்கள் அனைவரையும் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம். எங்களுடன் இணைவதற்கு www.TamilStudiesUK TamilStudiesUK.org என்ற இணையதளத்திற்கு செல்லலாம். முகநூலில் நாங்கள் இருக்கிறோம். contact@TamilStudiesUK.org என்ற மின் அஞ்சலுக்கு நீங்கள் எங்களை தொடர்பு கொள்ளலாம். உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. நீங்கள் எல்லோரும் நலமாக இருக்க மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை பிரார்த்தித்து அடுத்த வார நிகழ்வில் மீண்டும் சந்திப்போம் என்று உங்களிடம் கூடி விடைபெறுகிறேன். உங்கள் அன்பன் சுரேஷ்குமார். Thank you, Mr. Armoogum Parsuramen and all others. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
எல்லோருக்கும் நன்றி. இந்த மாலா நீங்க அப்போதுடைய கையெழுத்து இருந்தீங்க, ஏதாவது சொல்ல போறீங்களா? லாஸ்ட் I saw your hand. அப்போ நீங்க வந்து சான்ஸ் கிடைக்கல. மாலா இல்லையா? சரி, ஓகே. நன்றி ஆறுமுகம் பரசுராமன் ஐயா. ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சி உங்களை கண்டதிலும் உங்களோட கருத்துரையில் கேட்டதும். நாங்கள் தொடர்ந்து இந்த முயற்சியில் உங்கள் ஆசீர்வாதம் உங்களுக்கு நிச்சயம் தேவை. நன்றி.
தேங்க்யூ. தேங்க்யூ.
இது இனி மீட்டிங் முடிஞ்ச யாராவது ஏதாவது கதைக்கிறேன்னா கதைகள் அடையாள் நான் இதை மூடி விடுவேன். இது 2 minutes. யாராவது ஏதாவது கருத்துக்கள் சொல்றேன்னா சொல்லுங்க. மூடிவேன். எல்லாரையும் அன்மியூட் பண்ணிருக்கு. ஸோ நீங்கள் கதைக்கலாம்.
மாலா இருக்கிறா? மாலா
இருக்கிறா? மாலா இருக்கிறா? மாலா நீங்களா? மாலா எதை சொல்றேன்னா சொல்லுங்க. அப்போ கை வைத்திருந்து அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு மாலா சொல்லுங்க.
Thanks, Mala. This is Mala.
Okay. You want to say anything?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear. I'm still around.
Yeah, you can hear me.
First வந்து டாக்டர் விஜய் வீடு போயிட்டு அப்படியே கிருஷ்ணன் வீட்டுக்கு போலாம்.
மீட் பண்ணுங்க.
Yeah.
You hear me?
மாலா பேசுங்க.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். I really appreciate today. It's not only a great day for me because it's Ganesh Chaturthi, but I am so pleased that I'm talking with someone who is a special person in my life. Talking about Mr. Armoogum Parsuramen. I was a bit younger when I knew him, and he was the one who initiated me to start a Tamil Saturday school in Mauritius. I don't know if he remembers, but I remember very well.
Once you tell me more, I will probably recollect.
In Catrabon, Tamare Kajagam.
Yes.
It was me who initiated that school. It was the first Tamil Saturday school in Mauritius.
Okay.
And I did it. My sister is now in charge of it, but the school has been there now for the past 25 years.
Wonderful.
And many children have benefited from it, Tamil only speaking people. And I would really, really thank you for that. And with that, me starting that school on Saturday, it was sent across the island where many people were doing this. And what you did was you even made a little bonus for the teachers who took part in it. And it was only the Tamil who started it first, and then other communities started it in Mauritius. I thank you for that. And whoever does not know you in this panel, right, do not know who you are. You are a sincere, you are a Tamil-oriented person, and I think I have followed some of your steps here. For those who don't know me, I am really involved with my Tamil Mauritians here. I am the president of the Tamil Mahasangam in UK, and we go to Highgate Murugan Temple, and I have a big lead crowd who likes their Tamil. Now, we had Kavadi in January. Unfortunately, it was the last Kavadi for the year. We had about 1,500 people attending.
Very good.
It was beautiful. It was nice. We've celebrated a lot of festivals here. You know my family very well, I know. because they have always been Tamil and they are still the same Tamil that you have known from them. We like our Tamil, and now what I'm doing is for the community of Mauritius Tamil Mahasangam.
Yes.
I am trying to put a book, a Bhajanam group together.
Okay.
Because what happened is with the Bhajanam, as you know, the Tamils, they know how to sing, they know how to, some of them know how to read Tamil, but they don't know the meaning of the Bhajanam.
That's important.
So what I'm doing now, I want to write a book for them where all the Bhajanams are there, but there is the Tamil, the writing in Tamil, writing in English, and the meaning of the lines.
Very good.
Which
I would encourage you to do that. Do that. I'll be happy to associate with you also.
Thank you. When I'm doing it, and I know many people have asked me in UK, how can we learn Tamil? We don't have those facilities. We mix very much with the Tamils in the temple, but when there is a class, it's always in Tamil. So you're learning Tamil from Tamil. How are you going to learn? So we need that facilities. And if there is a possibility that we can now, like now in this current situation of COVID-19, what we have done is we have a Zoom session every Friday.
Okay.
Every Friday we have a Zoom session where we do Bhajanam. We do, like today we will have another session for Vijay, we had Varada Lakshmi, we had all this on Zoom. But we need these facilities from Mauritius now. I know we're talking about UK, but we need this from Mauritius to let us learn from French to Tamil or from English to Tamil, and then we can contribute here in the UK. And I'm 100%, I'm with you when we'll get all the Tamil together to make sure that we have got this in the London University.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mala. I'm very pleased. I'm very touched with your message. I now can refresh my memory. And remember, I'll certainly let's be in touch. You know, you can get my email address. I'll just put it in the chat box. But let's.
One thing I would say, do you remember who taught you computers?
Yes. And now I remember. Yeah.
I started my first training school, computer training school in Mauritius, the first one. And this became a very popular thing. And you came and inaugurated the school, the training school. One in Catrabon, one in Goodlands.
Yes, I remember now. Now it's very clear in my mind. Thank you. We'll be happy. I said it's true. Mauritius can offer to many countries the facility we have, because we teach Tamil, not through Tamil itself. We teach it either through Creole, through English and French.
Yes.
So we have these, even I'm promoting Tamil in the Francophone countries, be it Guadeloupe, be it Reunion Island. We've done, Mauritius has done quite a lot there. So let's use the facilities Mauritius have, you know, so we can introduce Tamil the way we do it in Mauritius by sharing the syllabus, sharing the textbook, sharing the Tamil spoken books that have been done. I'll be happy to respond to that, Mala. Send me a mail, you know, and I'll be happy to be on your Zoom for your weekly thing on one occasion to share and to discuss further, and we can take it forward. I can bring also a member of the Tamil community in Mauritius to join you, so you can benefit from them, Tamil teachers and others.
And once we are here, my group will be happy to help SOAS London for sure.
Very good.
Okay, you can rely on me.
Thank you, Mala.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mala. Can you leave your details with us? Then we can in contact with you. And
yes, Darmendiran has got my contacts.
Who Mr. Pillay has got your contact?
No, the treasurer. Darmendiran, yes, he has my
contact. Okay, we'll be in touch with you. And it's a great to hear from you. And you said you have a good, strong community, Mauritius community, Tamil community living here.
Oh yes, in Highgate Murugan Temple is
it's nice to hear that.
Be it the Kavadi and the Govindan, this is when we are always there.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you. And I was looking your hand for so many minutes, I thought, it's better give opportunities. It's nice I gave it to you because you are close to me, Dr. Parsuramen. It's very nice.
You can trust him.
Thank you, Mala. Thank you.
Of course you can.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Be in touch by mail, Mala.
Yes, I will.
Anybody else?
Thank you very much to all of you. I'll take leave now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to close this now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the end of the session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next week.